Hey everyone, Sergio with the Rideshare Guy. Welcome to a really special episode of Behind the Wheel. We have Lindsay from Pittsburgh today, and Lindsay is going to obviously introduce herself, but we just put out a video about her accomplishments, and she was featured in a Yahoo Finance article. Now you're going to say, what does Yahoo Finance have to do with Uber? We're going to find out shortly, so welcome, Lindsay.
Thanks, Sergio. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, yeah. So when I saw that article on Yahoo Finance, I go like, let me see if she has a Twitter handle, which obviously she does. And so I DM'd her, and then she was kind enough to respond, and here we are. So tell us a little bit about your past, what you did in the past, and how
Yeah.
you got into Uber, how long you've been doing, the rideshare driving, what platforms you're on, all that good stuff.
Yeah, we'll do. Hi everyone. My name is Lindsay Stamp, and I actually have been working in the insurance industry for the last 10 years. I've been working for the same company. That's my W-2. I'm a product manager, and I work on, mobile app, our AI capabilities, some of our website claim reporting type channels whenever you're involved in an auto accident and you have to file a claim. I work on the products that allow you to file those claims digitally and handle the claim process from start to finish. And I originally got into personal finance and was just really into investing in the stock market, investing in real estate, owning rental properties. Really, my biggest goal was financial freedom, financial independence. And I knew from a young age, from 22 years old, that that's what I wanted to do and that's what I was passionate about. And so I started off in just traditional finance type investments. And then I started posting on Twitter a couple of years ago. And that's when I met the Bitcoin community. And that's when Bitcoin was first introduced to me. And I just, initially just interested in it. Like, what is this? And what's the hype about? I know a lot of smart people that think it's the future and they believe in it. And what do they know about it that I don't know about it? And that's really what started me down, my research into Bitcoin of reading books and podcasts. And I came to the conclusion that Bitcoin's the hardest and best money ever created, and I wanted to own it. And so I started buying it, with my money from my job and my money from my rental properties, but I wanted to earn more money and I wanted to buy more Bitcoin. And that's when I started driving Uber. So started driving Uber last summer and initially just started out like, didn't tell anybody about it, just like, was worried what people would think about me and my financial situation because I was driving Uber and thought, oh, people are going to think I'm broke or people are going to think I'm in debt. When in reality, I just wanted to invest and I just wanted to buy more Bitcoin. So it just started off, I didn't make any content out of it or anything like that. I just was driving Uber, using the money to buy Bitcoin. And eventually that turned into me making video content out of it, posting that video content on YouTube, posting that video content on Twitter, growing my Twitter in the Bitcoin space. And that's kind of where we're at today.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's a stigma attached to driving Uber, okay? Because
Yeah.
people go like, he's just an Uber driver. I am not. I drive. I've been driving for 10 years. I love driving. I love meeting new people. I love, I mean, discovering parts of Los Angeles. I'm in Los Angeles that I have never seen before, right? And then the stigma is, he's just this, he's just that. Well, that's the labeling that happens in our communities these days, right? Nothing could be further from the truth, by the way. We have amazing, we have lawyers, we have, professionals driving Uber. And I don't think anything, nobody should be ashamed of being an Uber driver, to be honest with you. So last summer you started driving. Do you drive on other platforms, Lyft as well, or just Uber?
No, I don't. I've only ever done Uber because I shoot to drive 2 to 3 days a week, and I get enough. I drive in the evenings because I work during the day, so I either am driving on the evenings or on the weekends. And for some reason, where I'm at in Pittsburgh, I didn't think it would be this way, but it's always busy
Yeah.
off. And so for me, it was like, I was thinking, maybe I'll look into Lyft or another platform if I'm not getting enough business or not getting enough rides on Uber. But that's never been the case. I've always had enough and happy with like my hourly earnings as far as miles being driven and time doing it. And so never looked elsewhere.
Yeah, well, so as a rideshare guru, let's say, I'll highly recommend you doing at least join the platform, right? It's the same thing. You upload documents and you just kind of get on because there will be certain times and periods that Lyft will offer you bonuses and different things, right? So, for me, being an independent contractor that we are with Uber and Lyft, well, my saying is I'm an independent contractor, right? My time is for sale to the highest bidder. I have like 9 apps on my phone. So I'll fire them all up and I go like, who pays me more? I'm at your service, but I need to get paid because I'm out there to get paid. A lot of people out there maybe to
Absolutely.
socialize, like you're out there to get paid and to stack Bitcoin. So I'm out there to get paid and do the same thing as you're doing. But I would highly recommend that get on as many platforms because the other thing that we have in rideshare, hopefully you'll never run into it, but there are some a-hole riders out there that will complain about you. As good as you driver you may be, because they want to get their $10 back or whatever, and Uber will deactivate you. Uber will fire you. So you need to know all the pitfalls of rideshare. We learned that the hard way. So last summer you started driving. Let's say, give me like your typical Lindsay Uber driving schedule or how many hours, how many trips you've done, and
Mhm.
we'll go on from there.
Yeah, so I started off on a 2 day a week schedule. So I started driving Wednesday evenings after work and Saturdays during the day. Because, really for me, I didn't want this to be like a big stressor, not something where I had to put a ton of hours into it. So I would say around 3 hours Wednesday nights and 3-ish hours, 4 hours on Saturdays. So not a huge time commitment, but enough to where, if you're consistently making $30 to $35 an hour, it is good side income um, to use to buy Bitcoin. And I think the plus too, and this isn't for everyone, but for people that watch this channel and are into social media, it's kind of become this loop where I go drive Uber, I video record, I make content out of it, I make money driving Uber. I then take that content, I post it on YouTube and Twitter, I get paid for posting content. I take that money that I make from content and I put that into Bitcoin. And so then I have this loop of content creation and gig work both going into Bitcoin, which then accelerates your earnings and it accelerates, how much Bitcoin you're stacking. So that helps too. I've done about, I don't know, 150 rides. So it's not anything crazy, because this is a part time thing. It's, I've seen people with hundreds, thousands of rides. And that's not where I'm at yet, but I have no plans of stopping anytime soon. So we'll
So,
see.
well, we'll do a little bit of like a tutorial session for rideshare here. So, rideshare is it's not a hard job. You go pick up point A, drop off point B. You talk to your riders if they want to talk to you, I mean, you have to read the room, obviously. I mean, look, what did our parents tell us when we were young, right? Don't get in a car with a stranger. Well, that's
Yeah.
rideshare is. You're just putting people in your car, personal, private car that you have never met before and you probably will never meet. But there's networking possibilities there. A CEO of a company could be in your car, right? And so we always tell our drivers, don't just look at this as a driving job. It's not, it's a service industry and you're servicing your passengers and do the best you can and then, we'll see where it goes. So Pittsburgh market is reasonably, mid-city, let's say mid-sized city. There's definitely demand, obviously. Um, uh, and your loop idea is amazing, by the way, right? So you just create the content. Since we're at it, why don't you mention your YouTube channel and your Twitter handle as well?
Yeah, for sure. I just recently started my YouTube channel on there. It's called Lindsay Stacks, all one word, LINDSAYSTACKS. I have so far only posted shorts on there, like, 1 to 3 minute videos. I did recently insert a dash cam video into my car. And as you know, you need people's permission to
Yep.
post videos of them on the internet, or you can blur or cover their face and not, reveal their identity if you want to use your content. So I just started that, and I do plan to make like more long form content, driving, interactions with passengers, how it's going. If they want to be involved in the video, great. Obviously abiding by people's preferences. I would never post anybody that doesn't want to be posted. And then on Twitter, it's Lindsay Stamp 3. And like I said, I started out just talking about personal finance in general, and now pretty much make Bitcoin content and just really passionate about Bitcoin. And that's what I want to talk about. And so that's what I post content of. And it's funny because people that have found me years ago, they followed me for personal finance content in general. And so I do get comments from people saying, like, I used to love following you when you talked about personal finance, and now you just talk about Bitcoin, and I don't like that's not my jam, and that's perfectly fine. But I kind of am at the point where like I want to talk about things that I'm passionate about and talk to about those things with people who are passionate about those things as well, and not just post things that I don't care about. So I'm not saying I don't care about personal finance, but I'm not going to post like max out your Roth IRA and live below your means and put money in your 401k. Like I'm just not going to
Right.
post the generic personal finance content anymore. So yeah,
Yeah.
those are my
Well,
two handles. Sorry, long-winded response.
no, I agree with that to a point. Because, but then the other thing is we're going to do another interview, which I'm going to post on my finance channel, is financial literacy is so horrible in this country. And I think it's intentional, to be honest with you. But maybe you'll have your own opinions for that interview coming up. So I will post that on my finance channel. I do think overall financial literacy is important, but then you're passionate about something, and there's nothing wrong with just sticking to what you're good at and what you understand, as opposed to being good at 10 different things. You just need to be great at one thing. And if that's Bitcoin, if your calling is Bitcoin, Bitcoin it is. But let's talk a little bit, a few more minutes about rideshare. So you said
Mhm.
you have done a couple hundred trips, and since last summer, are you thinking of increasing those hours? How are the earnings going? What are you earning? Plus, wait a minute, what kind of car do you drive, by the way?
Yeah, I drive a 2017 Honda Accord. Great car.
Perfect
I
car.
get,
Perfect
yeah,
car.
I get like 31 miles to the gallon. I have for the last, I don't know, 6,000 miles. So that is great. It just hit 100,000 mile mark, which is good. It's still running perfectly. It's also paid off. So for me, it's like I have this paid off car that doesn't have a payment, personal finance. And I'm using this now asset to generate more income. And I would say that my earnings have consistently been between 30 and $35 an hour with tips since last summer. The last 2 days that I've driven, I think it was averaged out to about 28 an hour, so a little bit lower. And I have noticed that recently tips have been less.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's saying something about the economy, the state of people's finances, or just the mix of people that I was picking up. um, I joke all the time, Sergio, that I'm going to quit my full time job and I'm just going to go fully into driving Uber and making content out of it because I really enjoy it. And that won't resonate with some people. But for me, I work from home, I work remotely. I sit on a computer all day long and talk to people over video. And I love getting in the car with people and having conversations face to face and meeting new people. And I enjoy driving around, listening to music or podcasts. And I really enjoy driving Uber and making Bitcoin content and rideshare content. So to answer your question, I do think I'll increase, and I have been increasing my hours in that. And if the time ever comes that I leave my 9 to 5 job, I will be doing that a lot more.
Yeah, I mean, look, a lot of people knock Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, or whatever, or gig workers, basically. There's over 15 million gig workers, just gig workers in the country. And they're doing it for a reason. Number one, like you said, you have no boss. You just turn the app on whenever you want, wherever you want, and you'll earn something. Now, if you're smart enough, you'll be the top 2, 3% driver in your city. But then that comes with certain strategies. That's why our channel grows because we just tell people the tips and tricks of how to earn more. Because if you're out there, like if you quit your day job one day and you're out there 40, look, I don't know what they pay you these days, but like you said, $30 an hour, right? In what job? Who's going to pay you $30 an hour without a boss looking down your shoulder? Where are you going to get that kind of money? And the good thing is you have a paid off car. It's almost fully depreciated, right? You don't have to worry about that. You just have to worry about maintenance and putting gas in it and then, move on. But yeah, when you do that, obviously from now on we're gonna keep in touch, and we'll teach you the tips and tricks, and let's get that 28 an hour to 35. To answer your question, by the way, why your tips are lower is not who you're picking up. It's mostly something to do with the macro economy, and the other thing is, look, is a $250 billion market capitalization company. Their stock has moved from $23 a share from about 2.5 years ago to almost $100 a share now, right? Talk about
Yeah.
investing. And the reason for that is they introduced something called upfront fare. Like, when you get the request, You know
Yep.
where to pick up, you know where you're going, and there's a price on it. It's take it or leave it kind of a situation. Well, Uber figured out how to separate what the riders pay completely from what the drivers make. And their margins have increased exponentially over the last. So what they're doing is they're charging close to 60% more in the last 5 years to their riders. So the
Yep.
riders don't have room to tip. You know what I mean? Like if the same trip, 10-mile trip was $20 2 years ago, now it's $30.
Right.
Well, now they're kind of stretched in the economy anyway, and then they don't tip. So because it's not because of you, it's because of Uber charging more. And at the same time, Uber is paying less. And when your earnings keep declining, by the way, what happens, Lindsay, is the algorithm learned you better than you. They have machine learning, they have AI, they have algos that know who you are, when you drive, all these things, and then they just kind of, there's something called on Wall Street arbitrage, right? They figure out what the rider is willing to pay and what the driver is willing to accept. And if they can increase their margin by even 10 cents a trip, by the way, Uber does 1.2 million trips per hour, 24
Wow.
hours a day, 7 days a week, right? So you can
Wow.
add those dimes and nickels on top of their earnings. But so you said you may quit your job, but I wouldn't do that yet. Let's not rush it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
would I would keep my day job. I honestly think you're at the perfect situation. Now, if you can squeeze more hours instead of three, four here and there, you can maybe, you can increase it to 10 hours, maybe to 20 hours, right? I think that would be the best thing to do. Don't quit your day job to do full-time Uber.
Yeah.
I run a rideshare channel, and I'm telling you, this is like, if it was 10
Yeah.
years ago, I go like, oh, go for it. Because I used to make 60, $70 an hour.
Oh, wow.
Now in LA, I can hardly crack 25. That's before expenses. So talking about that, you have the perfect car to do it with. Man, look, you drive so part-time that I was going to ask you, because I asked this to everyone I interview for Behind the Wheel. So we have like idioms we have lingo. We have cherry pickers in our audience, and we have ants. Which one are you?
Cherry pickers or ants?
Ants, yeah. The ants with all love, by the way. No derogatory comment here. So ants are the drivers who pick up everything. They don't decline any offers.
Oh, that's me.
And
Yeah.
that's you? Okay. And cherry
Yeah.
pickers are the ones that go decline, decline, decline. Oop, this is a good one. I'll take this one. I'll take that
Okay.
one.
All right. I see. Yeah, no, I actually just declined my first ride, the last video that I was driving because it was I had to drive 20 minutes away to pick them up, and then it was a 3-minute ride, and they only were paying $6 because it was a
Yeah,
3-minute ride, but it was going to take me 20 minutes to get there.
yeah,
I initially accepted it and I was like, $6 for this, going to take me a half hour to do, and then I declined it.
yeah.
But up until then, I just accept every single ride, regardless of
Except,
what it is, and just go do it.
okay,
That's been my strategy, and maybe that's the wrong one. I don't
that is
know.
completely the wrong one. But then, if you're only driving 10 hours a week, let's say, do you get out of the house with a daily dollar goal in mind, by the way?
um,
Like, I'm gonna earn $100 and go buy my Bitcoin.
no,
No?
mostly just a time goal. Like, all right, I can get out from my other job at 4:30. I can get out there. I need to be back by 7:30 for dinner, or I have this going on, or I have tennis, or I have whatever. It's mostly by time and not by dollar.
Okay. So, but don't do that dollar thing, by the way, because Algo will learn it and then it'll start feeding you garbage. Okay? Don't do that.
Okay.
Um, so you have the right car, you have the, right attitude, obviously, about it. You have a goal in mind. Do you have any questions for me as far as rideshare is concerned?
Have you ever had anybody tell you that like Uber and Lyft is like a blessing and a curse because you have money popping up on your phone 24/7? And it's like, I don't know, every time I open that app and there's like red blotches and purple blotches, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I don't really want to go drive right now, but the money's calling me. Like it's right
Yeah.
there at your fingertips. Like, I don't know if you're a hustler. I'm a hustler. Like I've always
Oh, I'm a hustler,
had
right?
job. Yeah, I've always had jobs, different jobs, gig work, bartended, served, worked insurance, product management, managed people, worked at GNC, sold products. Like I've pretty much done it all. And with Uber and Lyft, like money is calling you 24/7. And I just wonder if anybody's ever said like that's a blessing
Oh,
and a curse.
I get 1,500 emails on the other channel a week. I respond to each one, and they're all drivers. Our community is 99% drivers. They're from all over the globe. I get asked ridiculous questions. But then let me tell you something. Uber and Lyft or doing gig work is addictive. It's as addictive as smoking, trust me. Because even the days that I'm not like gonna drive, I always have the app on. And then it's like Pavlov's dog theory you have. Like I'll be at a restaurant, but I'll hear the ping, you know that sound? You
Yeah.
just go like, what happened? Is it my phone? Like you
Yeah,
or you turn it on and say, oh, look, it's surging like near my house. Let me go grab that surge, right? It's addictive. It's
exactly.
completely addictive. And the reason for that is all those colors, by the way, they put on. The highest paid people at Uber are behavioral scientists, by the way. Okay. They research that stuff and they just try to make sure it's as addictive as possible. And it's a gamification. It's almost like a simulation. It really is.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, the video games that we used to play when you were younger, or whatever. If you did play video games, colors and sounds and all that stuff, it's all
Yep.
about that. It's all about getting you hooked. And
So
because you're making
what's
them
your
money.
advice? Should you cherry pick them and should you just accept the best
Well,
rides or
as little hours as you're driving, no. But like that last trip that you canceled, you accepted and canceled, I would have my eyes trained on one part of see, when they send you the offer screen, right? The largest number is the pay. And then where to pick up, where to drop off. Right next to it is how long to pick up and how many miles to pick up. And there is a duration for that, right?
yeah, it's
What I
quick.
would recommend for you is add the duration, both durations. The mileage, not so much because you have a paid off car, you know, whatever, because there could be traffic jams. Time is money. So what I
Yeah.
would do is I would add the pickup time. I would add it to the drop off time to combine. So let's say you get 3 minute pickup, 12-minute drop off. That's 15 minutes. If you're getting paid $7.50 for that trip, that's $30 an hour.
Yep.
You're good in math, I'm sure. So just add those because you have 10 seconds. The ping or the request screen lasts 10 seconds. Add those two numbers and look at your dollars. Don't look at the dollars first. Uber wants you to look at the dollars. Don't look at the dollars. Add those two, then look, extrapolate the number into a full hour. If you're at $30, only accept the trips that are going to give you $30 an hour because there is enough demand that you can decline a few that are under 30 and then keep yourself at that $30 target.
Yeah, that's smart.
That would be my recommendation.
That's smart. And another question that I have for you, I don't know if we're running out of time, but you know how Uber has a new feature and I think it's like just being rolled out maybe right now where female riders can
Yes.
request female drivers. And from my experience, there's a lot more male drivers than there are female drivers.
Yes,
What is your take on um, how lucrative it is for a female driver with this new feature?
I like the
Because I
product quite
have
a bit.
almost
Yeah, I
all
like the
my riders
product
are
quite a
female.
bit, Lindsay. No, I think so on your app, if you go to your app, there's preferences, right?
Mhm.
There's three horizontal lines. If you click on that, or there's two lines, if you on the lower left side, I don't know if your app in Pittsburgh is the same as mine in LA, but if you click on that, there's a toggle on and toggle off switch for female drivers and for female riders as well. So about only 15 to 20% of all drivers are female, and they don't drive the drunk hours for certain reasons. And Uber's
Yep.
biggest headache, by the way, Uber's biggest headache has been, assaults and all kinds of things because they do so many trips. I mean, things are going to go wrong here and there. But um, I like the product for the fact that females, especially when they leave a bar, especially, they feel safer with a female driver. Give it a shot. I don't know if it's available in Pittsburgh yet. I'm not sure if it is. We, in fact, did a video, put it on our channel a couple days ago with all these new product releases, and one is female to female.
Hmm.
But once you go to your preferences where those boxes are, like it says drive Uber X, is your car allowed to do Uber Comfort?
Yes.
Okay. So there's going to be a toggle switch. It'll say female to female or women to women drivers. Turn it on. And then when you do that, you will not get a male rider. You will only get female riders, right? And over 50% of riders on the Uber platform are female. So you're going to not have, it's not going to be
That's what I was
short of
going to say.
pings either. But give it a
Almost
crack.
all mine.
I like the product.
Yeah.
But then that doesn't mean that all female riders are good.
True.
I've had
That's
my
true.
thing. So let's finish it off with you've
Yeah.
done only a few hundred trips, but what is your craziest story? Have you maybe run into some sort of craziness?
Um, you know, I would say I'll give you my most uncomfortable, which also is maybe the most crazy. I got a pickup for it pinged basically to a parking lot,
Oh,
and I was like, familiar with the area. It's by the airport. And I knew that they were going to the Greyhound bus station downtown, which I know where that is. I know the route. So I'm thinking, like, I don't know this specific parking lot, but I do know where we're going, where pickup and drop off is. So let's do it. It was a decent fare. I pulled to the parking lot, and it was a semi truck driver that was just fired, and his boss was there in the parking lot with him,
Oh
like
shit.
getting his stuff out of his truck with him, putting him in the Uber to go to the Greyhound bus station to send him home to South Carolina. So they had fired him in the middle of him being in Pennsylvania for driving an 18 wheeler. And he was a disgruntled employee who was just fired. And we are on the highway, and it's bumper to bumper traffic. There was an accident. We're in the car
Oh
for over
man.
an hour, and he is upset. Um, you know, I don't know the situation of the firing, but I, got the whole story, and, upset, swearing, calling lawyer friends, you know, MF in the company, and all this kind of stuff. And it was definitely the most comfortable. And I will say, when I pulled up to the Greyhound bus station and dropped him off, I was like, I'm done. I have to go home. I have to turn off the app and go home. Um, yeah. So it doesn't happen frequently. I would say 90% of all my rides are great, maybe even higher. I rarely ever have bad situations or run into people that are, ungrateful or disrespectful or anything like that. But there are always some.
Okay, so I'm going to give you the floor. We have about a minute remaining. Tell us anything you want to talk about, life, investing, Bitcoin, whatever it is. Give our audience some advice.
Yeah, I would say that um, anybody can build wealth if they earn money, spend less than they make, and invest the difference in quality assets. You don't have to be a doctor, a lawyer, a CEO to build wealth. You don't have to be these prestigious professional employees to achieve financial freedom. If you want to have financial independence, you want to be able to raise your kids and be with your family and go to their practices and go to their dance recitals during the day, and you want your spouse to stay home and raise the kids and all those things, whatever aspirations you have, you can do all of those things by working a job and being smart with your money every single month, and doing gig work and side hustles, or start a business, do something on the side. Find a way to earn more money, spend less money, and do something with that difference. And it'll go a long way. And one other thing I just want to say, because I think it's very important for people my age and younger, young people expect things to happen overnight. Things do not happen overnight. I've been investing and I've been on this journey for a decade. I started this in 2015, it's 2025. I've, learned a ton, I've invested a ton. I have, a respectable, maybe by most people's standards, net worth, things like that. I'm not financially free yet. I'm not able to quit my 9 to 5 and never work again. I'm 32 years old. This is a marathon. This is a journey, and overnight success is a facade. So that's what I would
Yeah,
say.
overnight success doesn't come by YOLO. Okay, folks? So here's
Exactly.
Lindsay. My hat's off to you, Lindsay. Uh,
Thank you.
from Pittsburgh, and we're going to keep in touch, obviously. Well, thank you for doing this. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Thanks for watching this episode of Behind the Wheel on the Rideshare Guy. We've been doing these interviews for the past 6 months with very successful drivers from different cities around the nation. Click here for another episode. Make sure you subscribe and turn on all notifications for other episodes of Behind the Wheel, as well as amazing content on our channel.